Hi everybody, it's Geordie from Geordie Colours. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am sharing my completed pages for April 2024. There's still a couple of days to go, but I don't think I'm going to get any more pages completed. I actually had a really good month this month. I got 14 pages done, plus I have a whip. So let's dive in. So the whip I have is in Polar Bears World Cruise. I think that's what it's called. I always forget to translate this book. It is by the author or the illustrator Yukie Shiratori, and I purchased my copy from Amazon Japan. You might be able to find it on Etsy somewhere, but that's probably the easiest place to find it. It's a gorgeous book, and the whip I have is this page here. So this is a page that I am working on with the lovely Jess from the Colouring Bumblebee. We are doing this as a buddy colour. I have based all mine with Tombow markers, and that's all I have done so far. I'm a bit nervous about it. It's the first time I've used Tombows to base a page. In this, like using Tombow's direct to paper. I have used them as a watercolor before, so scribbled them on a palette and picked it up with a water brush and then placed it on. This is the first time using it direct to paper. I'm worried because it's looking a little patchy. I'm hoping that with the addition of a layer of pencil over the top, it's going to smooth out nicely and hopefully all of that patchiness will be covered up. I've gone for kind of a bright pastel, I don't know if that makes sense, bright pastel, does that work? Colour theme, so lots of purple, pink, blue, touch of yellow, and then tons of green, obviously, because there's lots of grass and fields and hills and trees and bushes. So yeah, I've gone for quite a kind of bright colour palette, although yeah, pastel bright, I don't know if that's the thing, but anyway, I'm hoping it's going to work. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with the sky yet. I'm going to think about that and probably deal with that last. I may do it with watercolor, like as in distressed watercolor pencils or something like that. Haven't decided yet. So that's as far as I've got with this one. I'm really looking forward to finishing it off. It's going to take some time. There's lots of detail in this page. It took ages to lay in all the Tombow. But yeah, it's a fun page. I got the idea for my kind of little cats with their kind of little calico faces from the inspiration picture, which is towards the start of the book. I don't know if you can see that there. So there's one half of that double page spread on there, and you can see the little cats have kind of this little calico kind of face. So that's where I got the idea for that from. I wanted to, I mean, I love the way they've done this with all the pink and things, but I kind of wanted to do mine a little differently. So yeah, that's what I've gone for. Fingers crossed it pans out. I'm trying to trust the process at the moment, but yeah, it's going to be a fun one to work on regardless. So I'm really looking forward to finishing that one. And thank you to Jess for buddy colouring with me on this page. So really looking forward to finishing. So that's from Polar Bears World Cruise, I believe it's called, by Yukie Shiratori. Okay, next up I have a couple of kind of what I would describe as simpler pages. These are colour by numbers. I've kind of really gotten into doing these lately. They're just really mindless, really simple, and kind of a lot of fun to do. So this one is called Colourmetrics. And is there an illustrator? I don't know. Oh, yeah, okay. So designed by Jack Clucas, edited by Emma Taylor, and cover design by Angie Allison. So, as I say, it's a colour by numbers. It's kind of like geometric shapes, which you have colours for. So there's this one, which I think is some sort of, perhaps it's a female lion, perhaps it's a panther or a mountain lion. I'm not 100% sure what it's meant to be, but the one in the back looks relatively similar. I don't have the exact same colours, so that was the one it's meant to look like. And I think it's turned out pretty good. I was using my Copic markers, that's all I used on it. Some of my Copic markers are running pretty low, so it's a little patchy in places, particularly with the green, but I think it turned out okay, so that was a lot of fun. I then decided to do the next page as well, so this is the polar bear. Again, didn't have the exact shade of colours, but I think it's turned out kind of cool. I kind of like that one. So that was 2 pages completed in this book, Colourmetrics, a geometric colour by numbers challenge designed by Jack Clucas. Okay, and then I have another similar book. This one is called Colour Quest, Amazing Animals, an Extreme Colour by Numbers Challenge. This one is, as the picture suggests on the front, all little hexagons. And the artist, Lauren Farnsworth. So I think it's the similar, or it might be the same publishing company that did the first book. And I did this page. So this one, I was a little bit confused as to what it was going to be. So the first things I coloured were these kind of dots, and I thought it was some kind of like snake or something. And I didn't work out what it was until I could see the outline of the head of the peacock. But again, it was a lot of fun. This one was a little bit more intricate than the other previous book. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun. So the completed one is in the back here again. I didn't have quite the exact same colours, but I think it turned out kind of cool. And like I say, just fun and relaxing colouring and very mindless, which is what colouring is all about. So I really enjoyed it. So that's Amazing Animals, an Extreme Colour by Numbers Challenge by Lauren Farnsworth. Then I decided I had to do one in my, let me zoom you out a little bit because it's a massive book. This is the Disney Coloriage Mystéres Best of Le Grand Classique by Thérapie, Hatchet Heroes. And the illustrators in here are William Ball, Jérémy, Mariez, Laetitia, Sala, and Edouard Vauthey. I'm not sure who did which page, but this is a fun book and it's one of those big colour by numbers. So I did this page with, is it Bagheera from the Jungle Book? I think that's what his name is. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, so I did this page. I made a couple of little boo-boos. I kind of wasn't concentrating and I went over bits and tried to blank them out, and it's a little bit visible, but I don't think it matters too much. Again, just kind of like mindless colouring and quite straightforward and easy to do. I've figured out how to do these pages now. So always start with the black, and I use a black acrylic marker. As I use an Artistro paint pen to do, I think it's acrylic, it might be water-based, but just to do all of the outline stuff. And then I go in and I actually used my Crayola Super Tips to colour all of this in. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and like I say, pretty straightforward and easy colouring, pretty mindless, but it's nice to do, it's fun to do. So I have a couple of pages done in this book now, which is good. So that is Disney Best of Le Grand Classique Coloriage Mystéres by Thérapie, Hatchet Heroes, and the illustrators are William Ball, Jérémy, Mariez, Laetitia, Sala, and Edouard Vauthey. Okay, so next up is a little book. Let me zoom you back in again. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. This book is a little book that I have been loving but haven't touched for a couple of months, and I decided to pull it out again and just do a quick little page. It's Enchanted Faces, Mermaids, Fairies and Fantasy pocket-sized colouring book by Lynn. And I have been working my way from front to back with this book. So I've done, I think I'm up to like 16 pages now. So I've done all the front pages, and this was the next one in line. I don't know what she's called, like Dee Dee or something. Yeah, Dee Dee. So I just decided to do her, and yeah, she was a lot of fun. It was quite simple and easy to do. Again, I based everything with my Copic markers, and then I went over with Crayola pencils this time actually. Just for something different. I added a bit of stickles to her wings and the little bee's wings as well. Hopefully you can see that kind of glitter and shimmer and shine. And then I just used a Secura Jelly Roll Stardust pen for the border on the outside. And that was it. Oh, and a little bit of white jelly roll pen for highlight details. But that was it, quite straightforward, quite simple. But I love this book. It is a lot of fun, and yeah, I need to start working in it again, so I'm hoping I can get this page done next month. But I really enjoyed that one. That was a lot of fun. So that's Enchanted Faces, Mermaids, Fairies, and Fantasy Pocket Size Colouring Book by Lynn. Next up was a new addition to my colouring bookshelf. I got this one and Boule de Poire, both by Diane Dufour. This one is called Nounours Therapy, which is Teddy Bear Therapy. I've seen these books a load on other people's Instagram pages and channels, and decided that I had to get hold of them. And so I just did one page in here, which I actually did as a colour along on screen. I wanted to demonstrate how I used my distress watercolour pencils to colour a page. So I used entirely distress watercolour pencils. I didn't go over with any other pencil shading or anything like that. I just used the watercolour pencils. And then I just used a tiny bit of my Yukie watercolours on my butterfly, and a little bit on my kind of reeds there, and a tiny bit on my frog. I'm not sure if the light is catching that shimmer at all, but it's there. And then I used a little bit of Sakura Jelly Roll Stardust just to add some dots to my butterfly and some dots to my frog. Again, that's tiny little details, so I'm not sure that's going to show up very well on camera. And then just a little bit of white Signo. What did I use? Oh, just on my frog actually, and a little bit on the grass, just to try and add a little bit of highlight to bits and pieces. But a really quick and simple page, and it was a lot of fun to do. Again, like I say, just using my watercolor pencils, and I had a lot of fun. Yeah, so that was a good one to do. So that was Nounours Therapy by Diane Dufour. Another smaller book. This is Johanna Basford's Small Victories, a colouring book of little wins and miniature masterpieces. And this was kind of an unexpected page for me. My little boy had to go in for a little operation, and while I was waiting in hospital for him to come out, I took a colouring book to kind of keep me company and distract me a little bit. And I decided just to bring this one because it's small and it's easily portable. And I brought along my Staedtler Ergosoft pencils and just kind of did it while I was waiting for him to come out. So it's all Staedtler Ergosoft pencils. When I got home, I added a touch of white Sakura Jelly Roll, just to, hopefully you can see all the highlight detail that I've added in there with the white gel pen, and that's all I used on this page. It was really simple and pretty quick to do. I have coloured this one for the hashtag Colouring Spring 2024, which is hosted by Sabrina in Colours. The Carmene Mama in Spring, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, hosted by Los Hobbies de Carmena Mama. And the hashtag Basford versus Menace Flowers, which is hosted by Samways Colouring. So lots of hashtags for this one, but it fitted in with a lot of them. It's a lovely spring page, and I just really had a lot of fun with this one. I have to say the Staedtler Ergosoft pencils work lovely on this paper. I've got a set of 36. I think that's the most they come in. I really wish they'd bring out a bigger set of Ergosofts because I really like them as pencils, and they're relatively cheap. They're not expensive. But it was a lot of fun to do this page while I was waiting for my son. It kept me distracted, and yeah, it was enjoyable. So that is from Johanna Basford's Small Victories. Next up, I have another large book. Let me zoom you back out again a little bit. I'm going to try and fit it all in. So this one is again, it's another Hachette Heroes Art Therapy book. It's Disney Forêts Fériques. I think that's how you say it. My French is not brilliant, but it basically translates to Forest of Fairies as far as I'm aware. And I did this page. My book is actually coming apart. Yeah, it's no biggie because it's not a huge issue. I can probably zoom you back in again, can't I? There we go. Right, so this page from the Jungle Book. This one was a hashtag Color Disney with Meg by hosted by Disney Meg's Colouring, and I actually did it as a buddy colour with a Disney Meg's Colouring, so thank you so much Megan for colouring with me. She had her movie of the month was the Jungle Book for April, so that's why we decided to do this page. And yeah, I love how it turned out. I used just my Copic markers. My blue marker was running out a little bit, so my sky looks a bit patchy. I would have liked that to be a bit more blended, but my marker was running out, so I had difficulty. A lot of my Copics are running out. I'm trying to kind of use them up. I have a set of Ohuhus now, which I actually really like, and they're a lot cheaper than Copics. Copics are crazy expensive and the refills are really expensive, so I decided just to get some Ohuhus to replace them. And yeah, like I say, they're kind of running out a little bit, so I'm trying to use them up as much as I can. But I really like how this page turned out. I had a lot of fun doing it. I tried to be a little bit creative, like adding some moss to my rock. I'm not sure it's turned out perfectly, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with this one. So all Copic markers. I added a touch of gold Sparkle Pop pen to the center of my flowers. Hopefully you can see a little bit of the shimmer and shine there. And some white Sakura Jelly Roll pen to go all around like the water, add a few shine marks and details to bits and pieces. But that was it. A lot of fun to do. Really enjoyed this page. So again, thank you to Megan from Disney Meg's Colouring. I will pop her beautiful page up here for you. I love her pops of red. It really kind of just pops off the page. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. So again, thank you Megan for colouring this page with me. Sorry for bumping my camera. Okay, next up I have Seasonal Wreaths of Plants and Friends. This one is by Makiko Inatomi. Again, another one that I got from Amazon Japan. And I haven't coloured anything in here, so I decided that I needed to do something. And I chose this page. It's not a wreath, funnily enough. It's just a page of spring flowers, and I decided to try doing some watercoloring with this one. So I used my Tombow dual brush pens and my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers as watercolors. So again, I scribbled them onto an acrylic block and picked them up with a water brush and used them like watercolors on my page. That is probably my favorite method of using those types of water-based markers. I really like the effect it gives, and I really find watercoloring relaxing. It's easy on your hand, and you just need to add lots of layers. I'm no expert at it, but I do really enjoy using it. I kind of wish I'd used a darker green for these leaves. I feel like they're a little bit washed out. I think I would have looked better with a kind of darker green, but I really love how these yellow flowers turned out and the leaves on this plant turned out. I was really happy with that. I added a touch of the kind of orange color that I'd used in the center onto the leaves just to kind of create a bit of a highlight, and I really like the effect. I thought that turned out really well. I also used a bit of my Aiuli watercolors for my butterflies, so they're nice and shimmery. I'm not sure if you can, hopefully you can catch some of that shimmer in the light. Really pretty watercolors. Love the way they turned out. And that was pretty much it. Yeah, that's all I used on this page, so just pretty much all watercolored. I colored this one for the hashtag Makiko Spring Wreaths, hosted by Jazzy Doodle Designs and Tonya Colors. So this was a lot of fun to do, and this is a beautiful book. I'm looking forward to doing some more in here. So that is Seasonal Wreaths of Plants and Friends by Makiko Inatomi. I'm just going to pause for a second, grab a drink of water. I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay, on to my next page. This one comes from Mein Frühlings Spaziergang. I have no idea if I'm saying that correctly or not, by Rita Berman. It's basically my spring walk. So it's her spring book. And I decided just to do this page. I took a book in the car with me while I was waiting for my children outside of school, and just decided to try and do a little quick page. I chose a colour palette from my Sarah Renee Clark Colour Cube, and I didn't use this shade because I didn't have any pencil that matched from the set that I used, which was my Stettler Design Journey pencils. So I ignored that one. I just tried to do these 4 colors. So yeah, just use my pencils for everything. I did go over with a Prismacolor blender to try and blend it all out because it was looking rather patchy. I have to say it's the first time I've ever used a blender pencil, and I was pretty happy with the results of it. It definitely smoothed things out. It was looking a lot patchier, so it smoothed things out a lot. Once I'd gotten home, I decided to go in with a little bit of Aiuli watercolor, which is kind of around the edge of my butterfly on the little dots on these kind of frond things, and little dots on my feather there. Hopefully you can see that. I also used a bit of silver Sparkle Pop pen. That was just for the kind of dots and details all around the edge of the page. And I used a little bit of green, to go over the kind of leaf, the stem of the leaves, if that makes sense. But yeah, a quick and easy page. It's not my favorite page of the month by any stretch of the imagination, but as I say, I did it sitting in the car, so it wasn't easy to do. Didn't have my desk and all my other usual tools, but I'm rather happy with how it turned out. I think it's kind of sweet. So that was from mine Frühlings Speisegang. Please forgive me if I'm saying that incorrectly, by Rita Berman. Okay, next up, sorry, I'm going to zoom you out again ever so slightly. I have Mythographic Labyrinth by Joseph Kattenbang. Now, I absolutely adore this book and I really wanted to get a page done. So I decided to do this little guy. So the little fawn playing his violin on the kind of beanstalk with all the little bunnies sitting around. I just thought it was a lovely spring kind of picture. So for this one, I used my Ohuhu markers to base, you can see I based most of the actual elements on the page. I didn't do the background, just the actual elements. I then used my Distress watercolor pencils for the background. I used my Mitsubishi Uni pencils to add shading and details to all of my images. And I used a gold Signo metallic pen for the notes on here and the insides of my flowers. I used a white Signo gel pen. What did I use that on? Where did I use that? I can't see any. Maybe I didn't use white Signo. Oh, I did. Just on the, I added some little dots to my flowers. I don't even know if you can see that, but it's there. So that's what I used that for, and that was pretty much it. I have to admit, I was worried when I laid the Distress watercolor pencils in the background. I was really concerned I'd messed up the entire page. It looked a little bit iffy and I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but I think it turned out okay. I think it's lacking something, maybe lacking a bit of depth. Maybe I could have gone with perhaps a darker green. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this page. It's such a cute page. I did this one for the hashtag April Colour Your Hoard 2024, hosted by T's World of Adult Colouring and Lavalla's Colouring, and also for the hashtag Mythical Fairy Tale World, which was hosted by Wonderblings. So yeah, a lot of fun to do this page, and it's such a beautiful book. I hope I can get some more done in here soon. But that was Mythographic Labyrinth by Joseph Kattenbang. Okay, next up is a page that I am rather proud of this month. It took me a long time to do this page, and yeah, I'll tell you the story about it. So this is Alien Worlds by Kirby Razanz. This book is not my favorite book. I'm growing to like it more, but it's not the kind of, they're not the kind of images I would normally go for. However, my lovely friend Katie from The Colouring Angel and I have been doing some buddy colours through this book, and it's been awesome because I use this book as a bit of an experimental book. So I try different techniques, I use different mediums, and just kind of have a bit of fun with it. So I have been enjoying it a lot more, and we decided to do this page this month, and the kind of crystal giant thing. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. There is a bit of a story to this page. So I really wasn't sure how I was going to do this. I wasn't sure how to tackle this page at all. And I had been watching Samway's Colouring, who started a YouTube channel just in April, I think it was. And I just love his pages. His use of colour is just so unapologetic. He just loves colour, and he doesn't stick to the rules. Like, grass doesn't have to be green, sky doesn't have to be blue. He kind of just plays around with stuff, and it's so fun. And he does a lot of rainbow stuff. And I was looking at it thinking, I really need to do more rainbows. And then I decided that this page was the perfect opportunity to do rainbow. So I decided to do rainbow crystals. So I Googled some images of rainbow crystals. My printer decided to play up and not work very well. But I decided to be kind of inspired by something like this. Obviously my crystals do not look as good as this one, but I decided that's what I was going to go for. I started out just using my Prismacolor pencils to colour all the crystals in. That was the first step. And it was quite a long, involved process, I can tell you. So I used 4 pencils in each colour. So for the green, I had 4 greens. For the blue, I had 4 blues. And I kind of tried to make sure there was a lot of contrast between the light areas and the dark areas on each crystal. Even though they're quite small, I wanted that to happen so that it did look like they were shiny and, you know, they were actually crystals. I'm not sure that it's perfect, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's I know there are other people out there that could do a lot better, but I'm so happy with this page. I just love the way it's turned out. So yeah, Prismacolor pencils to colour my creature and the crystals and these little kind of guys and the crystals on the moon. Then I used my Distress watercolour pencils for all of the background and the clouds. I decided to go with kind of this yellowy orange type cloud. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do, but I thought that worked quite well. I used Aioli watercolors on my moon, so it's nice. Oh, sorry, I'm banging the camera. Nice and shiny. And then I used a ton of Staedtler white paint pen to add all of the kind of starry galaxy background looking bit. I'm not sure it's perfect, but yeah. And then a little bit of white Signo Uniball, and just to kind of add some highlight details to my crystals. But yeah, overall, I'm so happy with how this page turned out. I had a lot of fun with it. It was a really freeing experience not to be kind of bogged down by worrying about where my colors were going to go. I just went rainbow crazy, and I just absolutely love how it turned out. So I have to say a huge thank you to Samway's Colouring for the inspiration to go rainbow on this. The lovely Katie from the Colouring Angel has not completed her page yet, so I can't show you hers. I'm really looking forward to seeing hers when it's done. And I did this one for the hashtag Colour with Ukraine April 2024, which was hosted by Colouring Natasha. It was to colour rainbows. I figured my rainbow colours would work quite nicely with that. And as I say, it was a buddy colour with the Colouring Angel. So really had a lot of fun with this page, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. So that was from Alien Worlds by Kirby Razans. Okay, next up I have 2 pages that I completed in Moon Valley by Maria Trolle. So this book I have decided to make a project book. So I decided I wanted to do a page in here, and I chose to do this page. Let me move all this stuff out of the way. So this page just called to me for some reason, and it was a nice simple page to do. I chose a colour palette, again from my Sarah Renee Clark colour cube, and I tried to stick with it. I didn't go with the kind of lighter grey. I just kind of got rid of that colour and tried to use the rest. Obviously I've used some artistic license with adding the hair colour, because none of these colours really would work particularly well for hair. I mean, you could obviously go pink or green if you wanted, but I decided to kind of add that reddish brown shade in. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this page. I don't love my flowers. Yeah, I feel like they're lacking a little bit of depth, but I struggled with the colours. I used Prismacolor pencils for this, for the entire thing. I used a bit of Posca paint pen to go around the outlines of my flowers. I just wanted to kind of blank out the black lines. I didn't want to use white though, so I tried to go for I went with what colour did I go with? A pink? Or was it a cream? I think it might have been the cream colour. And then, yeah, the rest is just Prismacolor pencils. Didn't add anything else to this. It was pretty straightforward and basic and didn't take very long at all to do. Quite happy with how my hair turned out. I'm still learning how to do hair and skin, so that was a little bit of a challenge, but I'm quite happy with how it turned out. I feel like it's got a lot of kind of life to it. It looks shiny in places, at least I think it does. I'm not sure if you agree, but I really enjoyed doing this page. So this one I did for the hashtag Earth and Woman Colour 24, which was hosted by Row Bioflower Art. The hashtag Maria Trolle All Year, which is hosted by @RatnaCRatna, and the hashtag Meg's ABC Colour Challenge 2024, hosted by Disney Meg's Colouring. Her letter was B, so I figured that the birds fit with that one. As you may have noticed, I'm trying to join in more hashtags. I always forget about hashtags and I never kind of remember to join in with them, so I've been making a conscious effort to do that. And I might have been a little bit of overkill this month, but yeah, really enjoyed this page. So that was the first page. I was then contacted, let's see, by the lovely Dana at Dabla D, Dabla D on Instagram, I should say, who asked me if I would like to do this book as a project book with her. And I said, absolutely. And we decided to do the book from front to back. So we started with The Book Belongs to page. I did do the little bee up here as well. And I will go and do the butterflies on the first page. I haven't done them yet, but I will get them done at some point. So we decided to do this page, and I decided to try something that I've not tried before, which is to use Distress Oxide inks in my book. I don't have very many Distress inks. I have the Distress Oxide inks. So I wanted to see how they worked. So I started out by adding some drawing gum to all of my picture first. So put the drawing gum over everything. Again, my first time using this and my first time trying this technique, so it was all new to me. I did the same for my little bee as well. I covered him in drawing gum and then inked the background. So I just used my blending brushes. I have these kind of like blending brushes. I got them on Amazon, they're pretty cheap, but they work really nicely for adding the colour on. And once I'd laid in the ink, I did add a little bit of splatter. Hopefully you can see the splatter detail there. It is there a little bit. And then just kind of picked it up with a paper towel. And it didn't bleed through. I've heard some people have had trouble with the ink bleeding through when they wet it. It didn't bleed through for me. It was absolutely fine. I then peeled up the drawing gum. I learned a lesson with that. I tried to just kind of rub it off with my finger, and I ended up ripping a little bit of the page just around here. You can't see it too badly because I've fixed it up. So then I decided to use my, this is kind of like it's an eraser for removing adhesive. So I used that and it worked a treat. So I used that to get rid of all of that drawing gum, and then I was able to colour over my image. So I used Prismacolor pencils to colour over everything, and a little bit of Aioli watercolours for the wings of my little fairy and my little bee. He's very tiny, so you can't see much with him. And yeah, that was it. So lovely buddy colour with Double D. I will put her beautiful page up here. I just love the blue colour palette she's gone for, and that gorgeous stencil detail she's used in the background, which is really pretty. So again, thank you Double D for joining me with this one, and I'm looking forward to working our way through this book. It's going to be a lot of fun. Really enjoyed this page, and it was fun to try a new technique. So yeah, win all around. So those were the 2 pages I did from Moon Valley by Maria Trolle. And I just have one more page left. This one is from Aries World Literature. Absolutely love this book. And this is my 2nd page completed in it. And it was a fun buddy colour. This was with the lovely Kate from Kate's Colouring Haven. Absolutely love Kate, and if you haven't checked out her channel, please go and do so. So we decided to do this hare and tortoise page, which was so much fun. This page has kind of been calling out to me since I got the book. I just thought it was a lot of fun, and I could go kind of bright and colourful with this one. So I used distress watercolour pencils to base everything, and then I went over with my Brute Fortuna square pencils, which worked beautifully on this paper. I wasn't sure. I had used my Brute Fortuna squares before and not loved them, but I have to say on this book and this paper worked an absolute treat. So yeah, Brute Fortuna squares, I went over everything. I don't know that you can see a great deal of the watercolour underneath anymore, to be honest. I used Posca paint pen to go around all of my leaves and my flowers, and to add little details to these kind of dandelion looking things here. And Sakura Jelly Roll Stardust, where did I use? Oh, just on the center of my flowers. But I had a lot of fun with this page. It was so much fun. As I say, buddy colour with the lovely Kate from Kate's Colouring Haven. I'll put her gorgeous page up here for you to take a look at. Absolutely love the way hers turned out. Absolutely gorgeous. And I did this one for the hashtag Earth Day April 2024, also hosted by Kate's Colouring Haven. So thank you so much, Kate. I had such fun with this page. And Kate and I have decided to make this book our project book. So we are also working front to back in this book. I'm really looking forward to doing a page with her. I have to check if we're going to do this double page spread first, or whether we're just going to dive straight in and start with the actual images. I don't know yet, so I'm going to have to ask Kate what we're going to do, but I'm really looking forward to that. And that is it. That is all my completed pages for April 2024. I hope you enjoyed looking at them. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.